My guest has built a full AI team inside Google Gemini, a lawyer, a marketer, a website analyst, a content writer, trained once, never forgotten.
I loaded Google Tasks, which is a free app, and it said, I will remind you on Google Tasks every week that blog is done and ready for you to go post. I was like, wait, what?
Wait, I don't have anything to do.
Oh my God, I love my lawyer. Have you ever heard that before?
Get to it, Tony Ray. What are you doing?
This is the first time in humanity where you have a helper that you do not have to worry about. Just play with it. Ask it tons of questions. It's the first time in history where the tool teaches you how to use it. So this is a very fun time because AI teaches you how to use AI.
You know that thing where you open a new AI chat and you spend the first 3 minutes typing the same setup you typed yesterday? I'm a real estate agent in Rochester, New York. I specialize in residential real estate. My target clients are first-time home buyers. Write this in a friendly but professional tone. And then tomorrow, you do it all over again. Yep, today we're going to fix that. My guest has built a full AI team inside Google Gemini, a lawyer, a marketer, a website analyst, a content writer, trained once, never forgotten. One expert, one tool, one thing you can use before your next client call. Let's go. Welcome to the AI Advantage. I'm J-Man, and this episode is brought to you by our founding partners, Wise Agent, Subi, and the CE Shop. These are the companies that believe in what we're building here, and we're grateful to have them in our corner.
AI is not replacing you, but the agent who uses it will. This is AI Agent Advantage. One expert, one tool, one thing you can implement today. With your host, J-Man.
Today, I'm sitting down with Tony Ray Baker. He's a REMAX Realtor in Tucson, Arizona, a social entrepreneur and one of the most creative thinkers I've come across in the AI and real estate space. His business card says Realtor. His operating model says Opportunity Architect. Tony Ray, welcome to the AI Advantage.
Thanks, J-Man. So good to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you finally made it.
Yeah.
So
I was going to ignore that part. Yes. Thank you for sending me the link over and over to get me on.
So take us back. How did you get into AI? Like, what was the moment that made you take it seriously?
I'm a nerd. So when open source became available for the World Wide Web, I ran to Barnes & Noble and bought an HTML for Dummies book and decided that I could code and build my very own first website. That was prior to WYSIWYGs being available like WordPress and GoDaddy and stuff. So I built my own website. So that's how nerdy I am.
So this is in the time of AOL.
This is, yeah. No, I was in Greece recently and they're still using that. And I had to wait every time to log on for the AOL dial-up thing in Greece. And it was such a reminder of the past and
how far we've come.
Yeah, how long it's just those seconds of waiting are in your brain. That's crazy. Yeah, so fast forward, we've all been using AI for 20 years. You know, AI's been available. It's been in the background. It's running. Netflix uses AI and Alexa and your Siri. And we trained Siri. Remember when Siri would ask you, is that how I was supposed to say that? So we've been on AI forever.
She still asks.
Does she still ask you? Yeah. My Siri is very confident with me now. We have a lot of talking we've done. But so what happened was I heard AI was going open source and I knew it was coming. And so I got very excited like a kid in a candy store. I literally searched everything on Google I could find, and I found waiting lists to get on to GPT OpenAI. I got on the waiting list. We were told it was only going to be specific people who got selected. But for some reason, I got selected. So I got in before it was really, really launched, and I got to play. And it was like giving me a whole lot of toys at Christmas. It was just, it took me down a lot of rabbit holes because I love it. So, yeah. So that's how I first got into it. And then it went from there.
And so where does Gemini Gems fit into that journey? Did you go the natural progression like ChatGPT? Well, you're already in the Google universe. You Googled it. You said in the beginning. So was it you tried ChatGPT, then you went Claude, and then you went back to Gemini, or was Gemini like your main one to begin with?
No, Gemini, if you recall, launched a little bit later because Google was very smart. They're the largest AI platform if you think about the infrastructure and the systems they already had available prior to everybody else. They had the money and the foundation, but
And
Google
the
was pretty
data,
smart,
right?
I think, because they didn't launch right away. They wanted, let's let somebody else break it and see what happens, and then they took a very cautious approach. And I think a lot of that had revolved around safety. Let's see that we're keeping our consumers safe, because Google has a reputation of organic and as trusted and reliable as possible. And GPT, backed by Bing, Microsoft, that browser does not have the same reputation for organic and trusted and reliable. So launching GPT out and letting the little kid out of the box on that platform was actually really good. So I, of course, jumped onto GPT. OpenAI was the first one launched. I jumped in there first and played with it and understood as much as I could about its pluses and its pros and cons. And then I moved over when Gemini launched. I immediately, and Claude launched. I immediately signed into both of those to see the differences, as well as Perplexity, and Grok a little bit. But so I started using them all to play around and then see what the fits were and what their strengths were. So I do carry a pro account for 3 of those LLMs, those large language models. I have a $20 pro account for 3 of them. So, and I still use all 3 of them back and forth based on their strengths.
Give us the simplest version of what is a Gemini gem.
Um, Pretty much a task assistant. If you want to think about a task that you do all the time. For example, I write a blog every day. Let's say I'm going to write a blog every day, and I'm going to tell the Gemini assistant how to write the blog and make it sound like Tony Ray, make it fun and professional, make it 500 words or more. I'm giving prompts to tell it how I want that blog. Well, I could copy paste those prompts from a WordPress document and throw them in there. That's quicker. Or I could create a gem.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's a skill or a GPT. And in ChatGPT, it's like a project or a GPT you could build. And in Claude, it's a skill, or a project as well. But in Gemini, they call it a gem. So I'm going to copy paste that prompt one time into the gem and tell it to save. And then every single time I need a blog writer, I'm going to go to that specific gem, and then I do not have to tell it how to do everything.
Okay.
So little baby assistant for wiping out those repetitive tasks you don't want to do every single day, or you shouldn't do, because that's just not efficient.
So to break it down even further, just an AI powered assistant that specializes in one thing.
Yeah.
Right. You're not going to have like you said, you have one that's your blog writer. You have another one you said in the intake, like that's an attorney. You don't want to mix that one with the social media one, because it's better to have one that's really an expert in one thing so that doesn't kind of get confused, right? It's kind of giving it, and your tone and your instructions will probably be different for each gem. Is that right?
Yes, and besides it not getting confused, you don't get confused, and that's imperative. You don't
Very
get
good point.
confused, because
Yes. Yeah.
because if you were to try to ask a marketing assistant to do A, B, and C, it constantly would lose focus, and so would you, on what is our actual goal. Oh, I was writing a blog. Well, I gave it instructions to write a blog, but what I need is a Facebook post. Well, Facebook posts are different than blogs. How we handle that content is completely different. So now I screwed up, because it's trying to give me a blog mixed with a Facebook post. It doesn't know what so it's confusing. Yeah, see, finite, the more detailed you can get, the more little specific you can get. I think those gems they work great.
Okay, then walk me through what's the training a gem look like? Like, how do we get?
When you get into a gem and specifically, and you don't get the exact result you want, another reason you want it very specific is because now you can go back into that gem and say, hey, I don't want you to ever use the word boasts ever again. I don't want you to add M dashes everywhere. That's another reason to stay really specific on your gems. To your question, what was your question? Sorry.
So the training of it, like, what am I just uploading a bunch of similar to projects in GPT where like I'm like I can tell it what the tone is and I upload a bunch of context. If it's blog post, but maybe I have previous examples of blog posts that I've written before AI or my writing style. What else? What would be good for that? And how easy is it?
For my blog one, I always say write a blog the minimum 500 words, because I want SEO to find it, and I want AI to find it. So I'm going to say write a blog with minimum 500 words. And then I tell it, use NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. Use a great hook. Give me great headlines. Give me the keywords and the keyword count for this blog at the bottom of the blog.
Yeah.
Because it's imperative that I know those numbers when I put it into my website, what the keywords are we're focusing on to tell the page what it is. I tell it to write professional and fun and informative and sound just like Tony Ray. Don't use dashes. So I'm giving it basic prompts just to make sure it is giving me the information. I do tell it if there's any information that's researched, please cite the research data. So I know if it says it came from Reddit,
Factual.
I'm going to dump it. I'm going to fix the content.
Wikipedia, right?
Yeah. I want, give me, and I tell it, you only research the most trusted, reliable sources. So there's like 10 little things right there that I don't want to do over and over. So I'm going to have that in the Gemini prompt just for my blog writer.
So again, I'm a beginner. You said a lot of things that might be more advanced or I might miss in how specific it should be. Could I just go to Gemini and say, hey, I'm trying to train a gem on how to do this? What kinds of things are important for me to include in that? Ask me additional questions if you need to, or something like that.
Yes, absolutely. That's the next piece of it is after you give it all the information you have, I would absolutely, and I always do this, is, for example, I tell it, I'm writing a blog for ctucsonhomes.com. Now, I own 5 companies. So for me, 3 companies are constantly being marketed. So I have I have 3 gems for 3 different companies just for blog writing for the websites. So I would say to it, this is a blog for ctucsonhomes.com. And then I give it, these are the things I want. Now, help me write the prompt to get the perfect blog so that AI and SEO, it's AI optimized and SEO optimized, right? I want every search engine and AI component to find it.
Yeah.
And write the prompt to make all that happen. And then it's going to give me back the prompt. Or I would also say, ask me any questions you need to know. And then give me the right prompt. When it gives me the right prompt, I'm going to copy paste that in to the gem. And I'm just going to say, call this C Tucson Homes blog marketer. So now I know exactly what it is. I have the prompt written by Gemini on how to get the best blog possible for AEO and SEO, and I'm good to go. And that was all rhymey. I need AEO, SEO, you're good to go. I think that's going to be my new training thing I'm going to start doing.
It's the jingle. It's a jingle now for the training.
The authority it's the web authority jingle I'm preaching all the time.
So who would be the ideal person then to use it? Do I have to be tech savvy?
No.
Am I a more advanced AI user, or could I just go, hey, I got Gemini, let's rock and roll?
You got Gemini, rock and roll. It's so simple. The thing is, I come to it with a pain or a problem, right? And you tell Gemini, hey, here's what I need. How do I do this? For example, when I wrote my first gem for blog writing, I told Gemini after it gave me the prompt, I said, hey, is there a way for you to remind me or email me this blog on a weekly basis and just do it for me so I don't have to remember, because I'm really super busy with all these companies.
Mm-hmm.
And Gemini came back and said, yeah, I can handle this. Tell me what time you want a blog every week. And I said, okay, I want this blog at 7:30 a.m. every week on Monday morning ready to go, because then it'll remind me to get it done. And it said, all right, open up your phone and load Google Tasks. So I loaded Google Tasks, which is a free app. And it said, I will remind you on Google Tasks every week that blog is done and ready for you to go post. I was like, wait, what? Now I'm excited. There's no tech savvy there. That was just me asking the simplest of questions. Like, okay, I don't understand. Help me, teach me how to do this. And when I go with that humility to Gemini or any of these large language models, they're going to help you. It's the first time in history, by the way, where the tool teaches you how to use it. So this is a very fun time because AI teaches you how to use AI. So literally in the morning, my blogs arrive now, and it reminds me. And yesterday I was teaching AI on a very cool panel of people, and it was blinging me. And I was teaching this one thing, and that was blinging me. And I looked at my phone and said, "You didn't open your blog." I'm like, oh, he's gotten a little sassy. Now he's following me the next day.
Get to it, Tony Ray. What are you doing? Well, and I like what you said about, approaching it with a little bit of humility, where like you can say whatever you want to other people, but when you're having conversations with AI, you should keep it real, which sounds funny, but it's like, hey, I'm really scattered. I got ADHD at a high level. I'm going to start a task and and then forget that I'm supposed to do it. Like, I need as many reminders and many little micro moments or tasks that you can give me, or what can you take off of my plate even, and have that conversation, right?
That's a cool thing. You're having a conversation with your assistant who knows how to do it. Then they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
Gems are like hiring personal assistants. I mean, you can hire 50 personal assistant humans, or you can create 50 gems. It's really amazing because they're so hyper focused on one task, and it will tell you what it can do and what it can't do. And remember that it's going to tell you later that it can do more, because as it becomes stronger and more efficient and more automated, it will do more and more for you.
And so I think you already answered some of this, but what problem is it solving that regular Gemini, if I'm just a chatty Ken, I don't want to say Kathy, with Gemini, I go in, I have my chats, and I label the chat as like, here's my social media content chat. Here's my, like, what is it solving that just regular chat isn't?
Yeah, so it's really about efficiency. It's not having to do things over and over and over. Um, it's it's really it's relieving me. So I work with all 5 companies that we own. I work about 50 hours a week, but I do not work Sundays, and I take very long vacations, like a month every year to Europe. And so
Nice.
I don't work nights. I never have. So we have a very good quality of life, but I have noticed that I'm working a lot less with AI. And because I'm spending my time with AI building these efficient systems, I'm getting more. Last week, for a moment, I was bored. And
Wait, I don't have anything to do.
and
I could do anything?
I had this moment last week where AI is getting stuff done for me, and I didn't think about that part of it, but it was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and I went, oh my God. What's wrong? Am I super slow? I don't know what to do right now. I'm bored. I should have a billion things on my list. And then I realized, oh, AI is doing the things I normally do on a Wednesday morning. I just gave myself a Wednesday morning. And it dawned on me that that bored feeling is me being so efficient and systematized for so many years that I'm realizing this guy's even making it better, right? And so it's a really cool thing because it really does free up time. So that's where it's really magical is
Yeah.
as you go through and your brain starts opening to the idea of creating an AI assistant for these little micro tasks, your brain starts realizing, what if it does this too? What if it reaches out every Monday morning and does a market analysis or an economic analysis of my city and brings that back to me so that I can put that in an email and have it launched out to my clients who are sitting on the market freaking out because their houses have been on the market for 80 days. What if I just have AI do the research and have it ready? Now I don't have to spend that extra 10 minutes. Man, and you save 10 times 10 minutes, you've already pulled an extra hour,
Right. Yeah, exactly right.
That's pretty cool.
So if I'm listening or watching this and I want to live that Tony Ray life, where I'm like, hey, you know what? I got nothing to do with. Walk me through very specifically. Like, I want to create my first gem. What do I click? What do I type? Where do I go? Is it gemini.google.com to
Nope.
start?
Yep.
No?
I love your question.
See?
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
this
this is,
question. I am
yeah,
going to highly recommend you do not sign up for Gemini Pro. I'm going to highly recommend you go to Workspace, Gemini Workspace, and sign up for that. It's the same price.
right.
It might be maybe a couple bucks less. I don't even know because they have a special running.
I think it's less because I have it. So just to explain to them what Workspace is, that's Google's more professional version where you can have your branded email, you could have a larger capacity for your Google Drive, but then it also gives you Gemini included with that.
Gives you Gemini in the package for the same price or less, right? And then you also get Notebook, I think, Notebook LM. You get Google Docs, email. You get all kinds of fun stuff in that package. So
It's a value pack for sure.
don't go to Gemini. Don't sign up for Gemini. Go to Workspace, sign up for Google Workspace, and get Gemini. And they will keep you up pretty much on the pro versions of Notebook and all those things they give you. They keep you on those pro. You also get Nano Banana, the pro version. So when you're in Nano Banana creating video or graphics, you're actually getting their higher, their better products. So that's a no-brainer. So let's say number one, sign up for Google Workspace.
Okay.
Follow the prompts, do what it tells you, get signed up. Number two, you're going to click on Gems, and it's going to have a little button that says create, and you're just going to hit the create button. And it says, give me a description. So I'm going to put real estate website blogger, and then that's my description. Something I will know when I get confused because I have art gallery blogger, trolley tour blogger. I have to know they're all bloggers because I also have gallery Facebook. I have trolley Facebook. I have one for each Facebook, right? So I have to know those. So be very descriptive on your description.
Let's go to the four active ones that you talked about, with starting with the lawyer gem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
what does it actually do for you? What does that do for day to day, like a specific use case?
oh my God, I love my lawyer. Have you ever heard that before?
I mean, yeah, all the time.
I love my lawyer. So I gave it the right prompts. I discussed it with it, how to get the best legal advice, blah, 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 right? I did that first and made the gem. Then I uploaded every single blank document from our Arizona Association of Realtors. I loaded them all in. I loaded the law book for real estate in Arizona, loaded it in. And then I had it research fair housing, NAR, AAR, TAR, all the associations, and the code of ethics, everything we are obligated under, and had it put that all into the gem. So, and it was told you only use these things as your resources. So don't go anywhere else. Don't go to Reddit. Don't go anywhere else for information.
Right.
I've given you everything you need. So now every single time I have something that comes up where I need to review something in the contract isn't right. Something isn't written well on the Binzer. Something's not good. And I need to review it. What I was dealing with was the phone rang and I got sidetracked, and then I have to go back to the contract, refocus.
Yeah.
Try to remember what I was thinking and where that was. Was that line 200 or was that line 157? And you have to find it. Now I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is go to this lawyer, and I can upload whatever document it is and say, hey, here's my question. They said this on this document, but I think I'm not representing the seller correctly if I let them respond and accept. Tell me what I need to know and it'll cite the lines of the documents it found it in. It cites everything for me. It just gives me a lot of advice to review. The great thing is that keeps me on track, and it's in seconds versus me running through the whole thing. And it'll come back and say, you want to check line 507 through 510, and you want to review this section because that's what this relates to. And don't forget, in your response, this also relates to your disclosure document they've already signed. So it tells me these things to be aware of. It really helps me very quickly hone in on what it is I need to focus on versus that's, that scan when you're stressed out and you're trying to get stuff done in a hurry, and you know the contract, but for some reason you blank
You
out
might
and
miss
don't know
something.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think there's a couple points I want to highlight there. The fact that you told it to rely just on the knowledge base,
Yes.
right? Here's the information. Only use this. Don't make it up and go someplace else and pull New York state laws from somewhere and then try to apply it here. And I think the other part I want to highlight is that we're not attorneys, nor will we play one on a podcast today. But you're in a title state, right?
Yes.
We don't rely as much as on attorneys, where I'm in an attorney state where that still would go to an attorney to approve.
I have 32 years and never once have had an attorney involved in any contract, except when I'm helping an attorney buy a house or sell a house, then they're involved in the contract. But
right.
We do not have we don't have lawyers to go for answers. So it's very important that I'm writing those contracts. So we take contract law and all those fun classes because of us being a title state.
Let me tell you about one of our founding partners, Subi. If you ever felt like the transaction side of real estate is where your time just disappears, Subi was built for you. It's your AI transaction genie. From contract to close, it keeps everything organized, your timeline's on track, and all the details accounted for. Their tagline says it all. Your work is my command. Check them out at oksubi.com. Link in the show notes, and be sure to tell them J Squared sent you. Well, and I think the other thing you mentioned with the code of ethics, we hear this all the time with agents, like they want to go online and complain. This is not fair. My offer wasn't accepted. And like,
right?
Was it a violation of the code of ethics? Well, yeah. Cite the standard of practice.
Tell me where.
I'll get back to you. Where you could say, here's the scenario. This is what happened. And I think the agent didn't present the offer in a timely manner. And it's going to go, well, I think that's article 1-this or 3-this. And, and then you can actually make that complaint, because look at agents. If you're listening to this and you have complaints about other real estate agents, make the complaint or things won't change.
Check it first.
Right?
Yeah. And check it first and make sure
it.
you know what you're talking about.
Right. Because if it's not cited, if the standard of practice isn't cited, then the professional standards committee is not going to go, well, it was actually this, but you didn't put that in your complaint. Like, they're not going to add to it. So it's always better to have something like this. Same reason. I mean, code of ethics, it's huge, big book. Right. And so being able to apply that to the scenario and say, hey, what standards of practice would you interpret this to be a violation of, or something like that?
Yeah. The other thing is that my lawyer, the other day I had an agent that was not performing to the contract, but under our law, of course, it's not the agent who has to perform under the contract, it's the buyer. And I represent the seller. And so after running through and just checking in with the lawyer, am I right on this? Because I had a little question on my time frame, and it said, yes, based on these laws and cited them, you are correct. This is where you should be. And so I said, I need to make that agent aware of this situation, but it's really the buyer who is responsible. Can you help me write a note to her to encourage her to do the right thing versus me yelling at her and saying, you're in violation? It helped me write a cute little neurolinguistic program note to her that basically said, we're confused as to why your client would restrict you from doing the following. Please advise, because right now your client has violated their contractual obligation. And we know you wouldn't have done that. So why would they have told you to?
You're a great agent. You would never do that. So please help us understand why.
So after 4 days of emails begging her for what we needed to meet the contract deadline, she went, oh, and she immediately started firing them what we needed. And so it was very helpful for me to kind of twist it and take it keeps me out and the emotional part too, and just lets me ask that lawyer, hey, help me say something to her, because my words aren't working, because I've told her 10 times we need to get these documents in, and she was just procrastinating it. So
yeah, I love that, because sometimes we can get in the way in our emotions, and we're like, let me tell you what, and you're like, wait a minute, let me, please, AI, help me to say this better.
Yeah, you can. And yeah, so that's where these things, these little gems, I love that they're called gems because they really are little gems to me. Like that little gem, my little lawyer,
Little
he's a gem.
nuggets.
These little gems. So my lawyer is one of them. Just for real,
Social media. You have a social media one, right?
yep, social media, website marketer, lawyer, and I have a listing marketer who's amazing. I love that AI. Now I wrote. So funny thing is, and anybody can use it. Actually, I could give you the link later if you want to put it with this
Yeah, we'll put it in the
for
show
people
notes
to
in the
use for
description.
free. It's actually on GPT because um, when I got to use AI first, when it became open source available to that first group, I knew I didn't know how to speak to it. So I went to prompt engineering school with Devin McFaul and spent months with him learning chaining and stacking and prompt engineering that the big guys use for massive AI communication. And it really gave me that backspace, that like the overall picture. I needed to know how to talk to the baby.
Yeah.
And so it was like a parenting book, for dummies. And I got to go through that. And so that really was helpful to me going forward, is understanding prompting. It is important still to know basics prompting, but now we're actually moved into context prompting versus prompt engineering. You really need to learn more about context and how context works. The actual Gemini, the actual LLMs are already doing a lot of prompting for you or teaching you prompting. So context is going to be more relevant now.
Okay. So you're going to provide us with a tool to help them with that.
My marketing guy, so to graduate from prompt engineering school, I had to write my own GPT, which would go onto the GPT store, but mine was free. It is still free. And so you had a maximum at the time, and I don't know if this is still the same, but you can only use 10,000 words, which is a lot. So I had to stack and chain a whole bunch of prompts to create a marketing specialist for listings specific. So I did. It's called Tony Ray's Little Marketing Helper. I created it on GPT. And now, because I've been traveling and speaking and stuff, and I just give it to any agent who wants it, there's a lot of users probably playing with that toy, but it works beautifully still to this day. And it's told to always access fair housing laws the minute it starts writing, not to use the word boasts. So it's got all those great yeah. So that was a really good case, was my marketing guy. I use that every time I take a listing. It zooms through. It gives me geo data. It tells me what's around the house, gives me the social media post, gives me the MLS description. It gives me a flyer for the client. It gives flyer information. It gives me a list of bullets. I could copy paste anything. Gives me geotag information, like I said, what I should know about lifestyle. Gives me a lifestyle paragraph. And then I take all these pieces and I rewrite whatever I, always edit. That's my big takeaway today. Always edit and check your writing. But then I use it it just really quickly solves that brain fog for me. And I don't have to worry about, what am I going to say about this house? Cute little house with stainless steel appliances. So
charming.
Boasts high ceilings. So I just, I use this little marketing helper all the time, and it just instantly, all you have to do is load the address in. But if you add photos and a floor plan and upgrades list, it goes crazy. And it looks at the photos and tells you 10-foot ceilings are fantastic in this property. It really analyzes the photos and stuff for you. So really,
oh, that's so great. Yeah, I never thought about it that way, because it's always, we kind of write a rough draft and then have it, but giving it the photos gives it that additional context that you're talking about. Like, picture's worth 1,000 words. You don't have to type about it if you just give it the photos.
All the marketing helper requires is the full address. But if you add 8 photos, the floor plan, and you add an upgrades list, you can handwrite an upgrades list while you're with the seller, handwrite everything they brag about, and then you can just take a picture of your list and load it. And it'll read your writing no matter how crappy it is, I promise. I've tried scribbling, and it gets it. So
Gets it?
yeah, it gets it. And then it writes the most amazing stuff. It'll pull out things you forgot about or didn't even hone in on in that marketing helper. It just loads you. So I love that little guy just helps me instantly. We had 3 listings one day that had to go in, and it was like I was slam busy, and all of a sudden I would have spent hours trying to solve all that. And I just put their addresses in the photos. My assistant did it, and it was instantly done. So it takes a lot of time when you're listing properties.
And so what's the actual learning curve and cost? Is it could I get it free if I don't upgrade to the Workspace, or is it behind the pay?
Yeah, if once you have the link, you just pin it to your GPT sidebar. Whether it's a free version or not, you should be able to use it. It's just a free GPT. Yeah.
With the gems, is that behind the paid wall, or could I use that, create those for free?
Gems you can create once you have Workspace. Just to say it's $20 a month, since I don't know. I think they're all $20 a month in my brain. But let's say you have Workspace for $20 a month. You can use Gemini Gems for free. It's just it's part of the system.
It's behind the paid wall, basically.
Yeah, behind the paid wall.
Yeah, depending on how you do it.
Yeah, I don't think you can use any of the large language model AIs without pay, because then they're not going to remember anything you put in, because they're not storing data for you, and you want them to remember everything that you want them to remember, right? So whatever you put in that you want, it's got to stay there. You're going to have to pay the $20 a month.
If you had to say, because I love that you're just a power user, you don't work for Gemini, like you can keep it real with us. Is there anywhere, because it's like if somebody's on promoting their own platform, then it's like, it's great. No, there's nothing wrong. And then you play with it and it's like,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right. So like,
and product. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Where does it fall short in any way? Like, is there anything that Gemini Gems does not do well that you wouldn't recommend it for?
It's daily. Sometimes I have noticed if I get a bad response on Gemini for a graphic or a video clip or something, it can be overwhelmed by users. Now, there was millions of users who migrated off of GPT over to Gemini when GPT filed code red. And so millions moved over. So I saw many times where it was like, it was slowed down, and my responses weren't great. And so I would leave Nano Banana and jump over to GPT DALL-E, and all of a sudden it was a much better response than it had been in the past. So I like to go with the same prompt to a couple of them sometimes, especially when making a graphic for something or doing some, video clip or something like that that's more creative. I'll give it to both or 2 or 3 LLMs, the same prompt, and see what they give me, because they all have different ideas. It's like 3 different people, and it's kind of fun to use them as that team where give me an infographic to explain to buyers the 10 steps that it's going to take to get you from start to the key to the door. And it's funny to watch the 3 different infographics and then what feels like you most, and then start using it. I will say what I'm most impressed with Gemini when it comes to graphics and that kind of stuff is I can literally talk to it instantly and say, at the bottom of the graphic you just created, you wrote this, please delete that and put Tony Ray Baker Realtor. And it does it perfect every time. So it's very good.
Yeah.
Take a coffee cup and put it in the guy's hand in the graphic you just created. It's very good at doing exactly what you tell it, which is amazing, because a couple months ago, it wasn't like that. They're getting very sophisticated on listening and responding correctly, because we've been training them as a society.
And so just like an in-person virtual assistant, sometimes it gets tired if it's overworked or too many people are trying to access it. So your advice would be to like, hey, you're not going all in one. It sounds like I'm the same way. It's like there's days where you're like, you know what, that's not usually what you would do for me. And then you hop over and you check out ChatGPT. Oh, well, you haven't been you've been sitting over here relaxing and not many people are using you. Let me come over here. And then it seems to work better. It's only going to take you a couple minutes, right? It's not like we're starting from scratch and it's going to be this difficult process. Just try something else if you didn't, or another iteration. Like you said, oh, maybe it has an off-brand cup in its hand. And you're like, well, that's not, the balloon is very specific. And now we have to change this and there's no words on it. Things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, we're so impatient as a society now because we're so used to high speed. I mean, I can open 50 tabs very quickly as a multitasker, right?
Yeah.
And so we're so impatient. And I always have to sometimes say to myself, oh my God, that just took 2 minutes. Okay, well, that would have taken 2 hours because if I wrote that blog with all of that data, I would have had to research the data that it brought in on Google, and I would have had to have brain fogged out of that and wrote the article and edited the article and put in the keywords and counted them manually. So, 2 minutes, yeah, that was a long time. I will tell you, I also discovered a funny thing. I'm a open tab multitasker maniac, which is bad.
Same.
The LLMs do not like it. So I kept opening 5 tabs on Gemini. Okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. And all of them were hallucinating like crazy. And I could not figure out why I was getting such funky results. And then I realized it's plugged into the same account, but I've got 5 running. So I'm confusing the heck out of the AI, and it was coming back confused. So don't open tabs. Use your one account only on one tab. Let it do its job, and then open a new chat before you will.
That's a good point, because you talk about impatience. It would be like, this image is taking 1 minute to create from nothing. And I'll open another one, start another image, and then all of a sudden it starts getting a little bit wonky, and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And now it's still accessing the same hub, if you will, and you're like, it's like, cannot compute too many inputs.
Okay, so I have to confess, I'm very embarrassed to tell you, but that took me like 30 or 40 days to figure that out.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Doing it over and over with because that's what you do over and over, right? And I never could figure out why I had that I had so many tabs open, and then I realized one day, oh my God, I've got 7 GPT tabs open. What am I doing with all these? Closed them all down, and then the first one responded instantly correctly. And I was like, oh, okay, this was me the whole time. So, yeah,
there's a gem.
Yeah,
there's a gem right there, folks. So if I have 15 minutes after this episode, what's the single most useful gem I should build first?
For real estate, I would say whatever is hottest on your list that needs solved. That could be marketing. It could be efficiency. So for everybody's individual. So I would say, write down the things you need, the top 10 things that need solved in your life right now to make you more efficient or have more time to meet with clients face to face or whatever it is you're looking for. Write those down, prioritize them, and take the one top item and throw it in and say, hey, help me solve this. Let's have a conversation. What can we do together? And Gemini will start working through that with you.
Okay. So what's the bottleneck in my business, or what's keeping me from?
Bottleneck is a great word. This came up across our AI panel last night.
This keeps coming up. Yeah.
Bottleneck. And there's a Beast Bottleneck book I heard last night. So yes, bottleneck. What is causing you angst or pain? What could take and give 30 minutes to back every day? I mean, just write those down, make a list first, and then go ask Gemini how to help you solve it by creating a gem for it.
Okay. What's the one thing you wish you'd done differently when you were first setting up your gems?
For setting up gems?
Yeah.
Asked it to give me the proper prompt because I would go in and make the prompt being very confident because I did prompt engineering school. And so that was 3 years ago, by the way. So being very confident that I knew what I was doing, I would just go in and and I'd be done.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think when I first set them up, to go back and say, now write the prompt for this so it's perfect for you to understand every time, right? And all I had to do was that. But I forgot the first couple of times. And then when I did it on the 3rd gem, I should go back. And so I did. I went back to the gems, asked it to give me the proper prompt, and then copy pasted that into the gem box. So yeah.
Okay. And I like what you said earlier about asking you questions, right? Like, ask me any other questions that you think you might need to further clarify what our objective is, or something along those lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Always ask me questions. Let's talk about it.
Because somebody listening or watching, they didn't go to prompt engineering school, probably. So their prompt's going to be
correct,
not as good as yours. Let's just put it like that. Right. And so getting help from the AI is the answer. Is that right?
And luckily AI is taking over prompt engineering now for you. So it's context engineering you're going to be doing, which is giving it the context. It's going to help you with the prompt. So you don't even, no one will need prompt engineering school soon, because that was just to get going at the very beginning. the neat thing is you just need context, which is give it help it understand.
Okay. So additional context. The more context, the better.
Yeah, help it understand. And like you said, the humble part of that is you're talking to somebody that's never going to talk to anybody else. So you can explain all of your deficiencies and it will help you. So this is the first time in humanity where you have a helper that you do
You
not have
can
to worry
really, yeah, you can really be honest. You don't have
Just
to
have a
worry about it going.
conversation.
Yeah.
I suck at marketing. Help me out. Whatever it is, you can do it. Yeah.
What does your workflow look like now versus before you had Gems? Is it like in the morning you have a brief and you kind of, I would imagine you went to AI and said, give me the order of operations for my Gems. Like, tell me more. Like, how does that work?
Not
You're
that.
so like,
You're
yeah.
way more sophisticated than me.
I was just
By
thinking.
adding that question.
Yeah.
No, I have a planned week every week because quality of life is super important to me. Always has been. The 32 years I've been in real estate. I built my business around my lifestyle. So I built lifestyle and then I added the business into the lifestyle. And then in doing that and thinking that way, I have a very planned week on what will happen. So my workflow has always been planned prior to AI. What's happening for me is boredom moments because I'm realizing I'm gaining some time back because AI is doing some of those tasks for me. So
Yeah.
workflow right now is anytime I have a bored moment, I remind myself to jump in and learn something new with AI that could help one of my businesses, because the more I'm learning, the more I'm creating and the more time I'm going to grab back. And eventually my goal is that I'll just have a whole extra day to play with, and maybe that could be a whole extra day off. I don't know what I'll use it.
Right. I was waiting for that. I'm like, the day off, Tony Ray, the day off.
Well, see, I've
Yeah.
never worked on a weekend or a weeknight in my entire career. So I have always been very clear about that. And I take 6 vacations, 2 months worth of vacations every year. So
That's amazing.
this for me now is going to give me more time in other areas, but I can then use them to go after working more with my not-for-profit programs I've created, which is like heart and soul for me. It gives me a lot of joy to go to my art gallery because it's a not-for-profit that helps children and local artists. So
That's awesome.
those are the things I get to decide. Where do I want to spend new free time, or there's puppies here and they like to play. So maybe I give them more time today. I don't know. So workflow for me is pretty much Monday through Friday. I have set things I need to get done. I have everything on a calendar. It tells me what to do, so I'm reminded to get it done. Now I'm programming AI to have some of those tasks done for me and ready to go on Monday morning. So
Yeah.
we'll see how workflow it's changing. Obviously, it's always going to be changing, especially as I learn more AI and as AI becomes more agentic, because AI is becoming very agentic. If you use a program like Menace, it gives you a conversation and then it just tells you to go away and it comes back later and it's
I'll handle it.
project.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, listen, folks, you've heard it now. Free up some of your time before your next appointment this week. Open up Gemini, find the gem section and create one, just one. Pick something you're going to do every week and build a gem around it. Tell us how it goes. Tag us on social, right? We'd love to see what you're creating. But we have one last question for you, Tony Ray. Nothing. You got this, no problem. What is the single best tip for someone who's getting started with AI?
Best tip for someone getting started: I would say go to Workspace and load up Workspace. Pay the $20, commit to it, and get in there and just break it. Just play with it. Ask it tons of questions. Add photographs. Add images of anything. Go take a picture of your refrigerator and ask it to make a recipe for you for dinner tonight. Go
Yeah.
take a label photo and tell you what's good or bad in that ingredients list on that food you're eating. Just let it start working with you. The more you play with it on a friendly, fun basis, the more you'll start realizing how it could really help your business. I think playing with it as a toy first could be a really fun way to experience AI. And it can do things like help you make recipes out of what's in your pantry or your freezer. Just take a picture and show it. It's It's very fun. So have fun with it. And that way you won't be so nervous around it. I've seen a lot of nerves around AI, which is not necessary. Just have fun with it. And then take one thing and ask it a question about your business and watch what happens.
Okay. I love that. So have fun with it so it's less intimidating. It's not a thing to be scared of. Have fun just to get your feet wet and get started, and then ask a simple question.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Look at folks, if you got value from this, do us a favor. Share it with one agent who's still trying to figure out AI, just one. That's how we grow this thing. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tony Ray, where can people find you, and what's the next thing you're working on?
People can find me. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, and all the suburb areas. So it's Tony Ray at ctucsonhomes.com. CTucson Homes is the website. And you can call me at 520-631-8669. The one
On
next
social?
thing I'm working on. Oh, social? Yeah, if you go to Facebook, it's Tony Ray Baker. It's really simple. If you Google Tony Ray Baker, that's all you have to do. You'll find me on several pages, and you'll find out.
Which is impressive because it's not a very unique name. So it's impressive that he'll find you if it's Tony Ray Baker, right?
If they put in Tony Ray Baker, I should come up number one. If I don't put in the word realtor behind it, but I think there's a lot of pages on me. So yeah, you'll find me if you just put in Tony Ray Baker, and then you can find me anywhere. I'm on everything. But
all right. Well, thank you, Tony Ray. Next Friday, we're back with another tool, another expert, and one more thing you can use before your next client appointment. We'll see you then. But before you go, we want to say thank you to our founding partners, Wise Agent, Subi, and the CE Shop. They make this show possible, and they're building tools that actually help people in this industry. Check them out. All the links are in the show notes. And thank you for spending time with me. That's not something we take lightly. Now go make it happen. Make it an AI day.